All right. Hey, everybody. This is Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast. How you guys doing on this Sunday? I'm doing. See, did y'all see that? Did y'all hear that?
Hmm.
I'm telling you, they're trying to contact me. But anyway, hey man, how is everybody doing on this Sunday? I am doing great. I am man. What the heck is going on? I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, hey man, today I took the plane over to Chattanooga, Tennessee. I hope I said that right. Chattanooga, am I right?
Chattanooga.
Chattanooga, Tennessee, man, to visit Chattanooga Paranormal. Hey man, introduce yourselves, brother. Introduce yourselves.
Hey, Marty Bonington with Paranormal Research and Ghost Investigations out of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
All right.
And I am Mark Holland with Chattanooga's PRGI. I'll give you the acronym since Marty's already spelled it out for us.
There you go. Hey, glad to have you guys on the show, man. Taking out your busy day to join me down here in Central Texas. You know what I'm saying? But before we get started, I got a couple announcements. Today, we are streaming live on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and we also are streaming live in the great country of Tokyo, Japan. So, hey, hello to everybody over there in Japan. I know it's pretty early over there, but hey, if you guys can join us, that'd be great. If you can always come back on and watch the show. And we also are auto, I can't say, yeah, we are auto live on Instagram. Now, I'm unable to do Instagram live because they only allow me to stream for an hour. So I'm going to do a little audio podcast. So all of my fans out there in the IG world, thank you for coming on the show. And thank you for listening. But with enough said, let's jump right on into this podcast now because I'm curious to know what these guys are talking about over there in Tennessee. Hey, Marty and Mark, tell me a little bit about your team, bro.
Yeah, sure. It's the team has actually been together for a little bit over 20 years. Myself and AJ, our co-founder, started it many, many moons ago. And then we were lucky enough to come across Marty and his wife and a couple of other people. I tell you, Marty's a phenomenal investigator. Not only is he considered our lead investigator, but he's also what I consider the idea man. He comes up with things, that is like, oh, that's a good idea, right? So what we do is, of course, just like most of us, we seek out places to go investigate. And we also get a lot of calls to investigate homes, to help people, that are always saying, I just want to know I'm not crazy, that this is really happening. And as a matter of fact, there was one not too distant in the past that Marty and I did, and we'll kind of rotate with the team doing it based on the location and whatnot, that we had some really interesting activity in the home. So it's again, we're just trying to find answers. We look at it as a field of research, a field of study. And one of the things that we believe is that teams honestly should not be competing with each other. It should be a para-unity and, a para-community, and we should be collaborating and comparing evidence, for validation and things like that. So, Marty, anything to add to that about who our team is?
I mean, that was pretty eloquent. I think we've got a great variety of people. We have typically on our investigations, we have at least two, if not three women. We've got four guys. All of us have different backgrounds, histories, experiences in life, and everything like that. And I think just together is what makes it a great team.
Cool. How many you guys got on the team?
I, I would say, 7. I think is where we're at. 7.
So,
Every now and then we'll bring in a couple others. We've got family up in Ohio, and occasionally
Mhm.
they'll come in and join us. But we have kind of like a core 5 or 7 that do the investigations.
Okay, cool. Hey, quick, I'm gonna jump in the comments. I don't know if you guys are able to see that, but is that Mona? Mona, man, she's talking pretty highly of y'all. She must know one of y'all. Which
Yeah,
one is
wow,
it?
thank you.
hello, Mona.
Yeah, she loves you. Hello, Mark. Hello, Marty. Yeah, she must be a team member.
She's actually a follower. She'll watch our investigations. And one of the
Oh,
things
okay,
we do
cool.
that we probably should have in the team description is people like Mona, and Mona does this on a frequent basis.
Mm-hmm.
When we're doing our live sessions on Facebook during an investigation, we'll go live for about an hour to an hour and a half and let people experience, hey, if something happens, great. If something doesn't happen, it is what it is. You can't force the issue, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
so we leave it open for the people who are tuned in to comment in the chat section, and if they want us to ask a question for them, then we'll ask the question for them. And Mona, and we have a great group of followers. I got to put that out there. I mean, they're all respectful. They're all questioning. We have some skeptical, which is good. We need the skeptics in this field
Mm-hmm.
for the validity and whatnot. But we're really proud of the people and honored of the people that follow us.
Well,
And Mona, thank you.
yeah, thank you, Mona. Hey, we definitely need more individuals such as yourself, man, because individuals like you would it makes life so much easier
Hmm.
for paranormal investigators, and
Yeah.
what we do for a living. And like Mark was saying, we can get more unity out here, man, instead of arguing and scratching and fighting at each other over territory on whose city, who owned what city, and who's allowed to investigate in what city and all that. Yeah, man, that we need more guys like you. But once again, Mark said it once, Marty said it, but I'm gonna say it again. Thank you. You know, okay, guys. Hey, how hard was it for you guys to find team members?
Mm. I guess I'll take this one, Marty, and then you come in and sweep up if you don't mind. In the beginning, PRGI, we started out as a 4-member group. In our very first investigation, like a lot of rookies, a lot of amateurs, we thought, hey, let's go big. If we're going to do it, let's do it. So our very first investigation was at Waverly Hills Sanatorium some 20 plus years ago.
Oh wow.
Lots of activity. We witnessed our first shadow. Of course, a lot of first on our first formal investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow figure seen, um, something crawling on the wall was seen. I mean, really, really great investigation. So we started out with 4, and then we went from 4 to 5, and then we had someone drop off, and then we were a core group of 4 for probably, I don't know, 8 years. And then, people have come and gone over
Mm-hmm.
the years. And probably, Marty, how long have you been on the team now?
It's about like 6 or 7 years.
6, 7 years. Yeah. Yeah. And then Marty and I have known each other for a long time through work. And so he and his wife decided, okay, let's check this out, and so went on an investigation, and we were looking for a group of, people who aren't going to freak out,
Right.
people who can take that even keel. And Marty and his wife Amanda fit the bill perfectly. And then I would say probably 4 to 5 years ago, we added our existing tech manager named Jason, and he's phenomenal with the tech. He built our SLS camera He's a lot smarter than I am when it comes to that stuff. So over the years, we've had a lot of interchange.
Mhm.
But I feel like it took all that time and all that change to get to where we are now. And I mean, we don't have a paranormal team. We have a paranormal family.
There you
We
go.
truly, there is zero arguments. We do not argue. We do not bicker with each other. If someone challenges someone else, then yeah, that's what we need. Right. And we kind of have a majority vote on what we post. If things are questionable, could be
Mhm.
paranormal, could not, we need to vote so that we don't post it. Because, of course, if there's a potential logical explanation for it, I mean, why put it out there and present it as paranormal? And that's where Marty adds a lot of value to the team in the analysis and review of our video and audio, pictures and everything else. He's got a really level head, comes to it, I guess I would say, with a skeptic mind. Is that fair to say, Marty? Which
Mhm.
I
again
would
keeps
I
us
would definitely say so. I may be the biggest skeptic on the team.
mhm, which is great. It keeps us grounded. And so we got to this core team of 6 or 7. And I mean, it truly is. This is the team I've been working 20 years to get.
There you go.
You know,
Yeah, because one thing I've noticed in my years of in paranormal investigating, it takes that long to get the team that you want, that you want. To
yeah,
get that core team, to get that team that can actually be special.
yeah,
If you want that special team, it's going to take time. I mean, it's something
yeah.
that's just not done 1 week. It's going to take a couple of years. Now, you guys mentioned your first investigation was Waverly Hills. What made you guys jump into something that, man, I'm going to say hard because I don't think any team that's new to the paranormal that normally jumps into something that heavy. What made you guys jump into something like that?
And let me say, Terry, I 1000% agree. We were not prepared. We had no idea what we're doing. I mean, I had studied, and some of the others had studied, about the paranormal, right? And just trying to educate my mind before we went, watch different shows, picked up the techniques that I liked, disregarded the techniques I didn't really dig, and it was. I again 1000% agree with you. Start small and work your way bigger. Um, the only reason I can say that we picked Waverly Hills to go first is we were amateurs. We were still learning. I mean, we didn't even know what we didn't know, right? So had to do it all over again. I would have approached it differently, but I wouldn't trade the experiences and the evidence that we captured there for anything. Um, we have gone back a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I tell you, I look at every investigation we've been on. And Marty, please tell me if you agree with this or if you have another location. It seems like everything we've done over the years was preparing us to go to another famous place, Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. That is the only place we have ever investigated where activity was happening as we were setting up.
Oh
And
wow.
it was still happening as we were breaking down. There was no break in activity. Every location, every group, everywhere we went, there was some type of activity we were able to either experience or document. And so, again, to answer your question simply, stupidity. Why we went to Waverly Hills first? I mean, I'm just being honest.
Well, hey, you know what? I'd rather have you be honest with me. Now, with you guys having that place as your first location, you guys investigated. Now, did you guys put that experience as your foundation for your team?
Yes, yes. And one of our, and I'll let Marty expand on this. One of our things is our approaches is we kind of learned, and again, this is our approach. We do not provoke.
Yeah.
We do not antagonize.
Yeah.
right? I mean, who wants to communicate with you if you're trying to challenge them,
Exactly. And
right? And
exactly. You're absolutely right.
yeah,
And Mark and Marty, and me as being a paranormal investigator, and I am a paranormal investigator because those two locations. Can you tell me how many paranormal investigators can say been in both of those locations? Thousands, probably.
yeah, yeah,
So so whatever's there, they're probably tired of seeing the same old same old.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So they're probably tired of seeing, this device, that device. And you know what, man? And if I was a spirit and I was out there, just hanging out, man, at a park or cemetery, and somebody want to communicate with me, and you come flashing something to me I've seen a million times, it's a good chance that I probably would just, yeah, go away. I ain't gonna deal with you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But then,
Mhm.
like you say, it's also about the respect, the whole
Yes.
respect, thing to it too. So just because these individuals are no longer here, just because they don't have a physical body, I mean, they're still there in energy, and they still have feelings, and they can still get angry if you disrespect them. So
Mhm.
you got to have that mutual respect, for them, and that's a big thing that we do also. We got to have that respect, because what you're dealing with is much older than you, and probably been through a lot while they're alive, more than what you have. So you got to have that respect for them, and the ultimate respect. The minute I see somebody disrespect, I'm pulling you, because
Mhm.
it's uncalled for. Yeah, man. So you guys busted out with Waverly, and you know what? I respect you for that, because a lot of teams would not do that, But if you had a choice to go back in time and you thought about it, would you still do Waverly, or would you go somewhere else?
It's kind of a trick question. If I'm thinking strategically and honestly to help me build the skill set that I've developed over 20 years, first of all, I want to clarify that does not make me an expert.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in experts in this field. There's always something to learn. I've
Always.
learned more from Marty in the past 7 years than I've learned in the previous 13 that I was investigating and researching by myself, right? So if I could go back, because don't seem to have a lot of fear, or some people may call it common sense. um, we've both laid in coffins. We've been left alone in jail cells and in other places. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we just, and not everybody on the team feels that way, which is okay. But to be honest, Marty and I are kind of, I guess you could say, the morons.
Yeah, I was gonna say dumb.
Yeah. But yeah, let's try that. Let's try
There
that.
you
And,
go.
and again, Jason is very similar to that too. But yeah, I would probably say I would have done it a little bit differently and being realistic. But then there's that other adventurous side of me. Nah, I'd do it again.
I do it. All right. Well, cool. Hey, tell me, what kind of paranormal team are you guys? Are you guys the validation? Are you guys validation only, or you guys have a little bit more of the dark side of, when I mean dark side, you guys might deal in a little something demonic, a little something a little heavy, or you guys just basically pretty much like me. Hey, if you want the validation, I'm your man. But anything else more than that, we can call somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Marty, what you take this one, please?
I mean, I wouldn't say we're we're certainly not dark. I don't think there's anything dark about what we do, and we're not looking for dark anywhere. We're not out there like, hey, if you got a demon or something at your house, give us a call. Um, we're the team that will be happy to go in and get you some answers and see if there's something demonic there. Is there something evil there? Uh, I think for me, I feel like some people think that just because they're having activity, that it's got to be bad activity.
Hmm.
And, Mark alluded to an investigation that we did at a house not too long ago. And that person was saying that they felt that it was something demonic there. And after a couple hours, we hadn't really gotten a lot of, uh, um, God, I just totally went clueless. We hadn't got a lot of responses, evidence, things like that. Uh, and then we started doing, you know, supposedly like a family member had passed in the house. And
Hmm.
so we started going down that line of communication. And all of a sudden, everything that we had just started lighting up. And so we had gone in thinking, okay, there's something negative here, let's try to figure out what it is. And as we kept going, it was there's really nothing negative here. um, and we, like I said, we weren't getting responses to anything. And then as soon as we brought up the family member, everything that we had just started lighting up, and we had a
Yeah.
conversation for a good 30 minutes with the spirit that was there. And it ended up being the this person's family member, and they were just so happy and excited to get an answer.
Hmm.
So for me, I feel like when people see things happen, some of them think automatically that there's something negative here. But they're like you were saying, they're people. And if you're not paying them attention, maybe they just want you to pay attention to them,
Yeah. Say,
acknowledge them that they're there, and everything's great.
yeah. I mean, if you ignore them, they'd definitely find a way to get you. They would
Exactly.
get your attention.
Exactly.
Hey, if they want to watch TV, hell, they'll cut that TV on.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it's nothing evil or anything like that. It's just, hey, I'm here.
hey, I'm here, man. I mean, I'm not going nowhere. We're family. I
Right.
mean,
Mhm.
we've been family
Exactly.
since day one. Why not continue? Just because I'm gone, that don't mean I don't want to be your family anymore.
Hmm.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Now, hey guys, now this question is for both of you guys, and I'd like to get an answer from each one of y'all because I found out that each question, I mean, answer is a little bit different. We're going to start with Marty. Marty, now we can say that when you go into a residential location and you do a psych evaluation of the person that you're talking to, because my team has somebody, mostly it's me, that if I have a residential, I usually go in and just ask a bunch of questions.
Hmm.
And can we honestly say? I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I can honestly say when I go into a location and I look around and I see certain things, and I see a bunch of medication bottles over there, and I see a bunch of liquor bottles, beer bottles over there, and I see a little bit of, marijuana over here, and that my mind is starting to race already.
Hmm.
So, can we honestly say that somebody who thinks that they have something in their residence, I'm gonna put a number out there, and I want you to ask, whether they're right. I'm gonna go 80-20 that there's nothing going on in that location. It's a mental thing.
Right.
You know, I rarely went into a house. When somebody called me, I rarely go in and I find anything. That
Hmm.
20% I have, but that other 80 is basically a mental thing because they're
Right.
off their meds. They're doing things they shouldn't be doing.
Hmm.
They're smoking things they should. We all know that medication and liquor don't mix.
Mhm.
Yep.
So how do you feel about and what is your numbers on that?
I mean, I think they're pretty similar as far as what's happening versus what's not happening. Um, in today's world, we have the opportunity to text message people when they're reaching out. So having a conversation through text message with that person to see what's going on, uh, asking them to kind of track when things are going on, what are they doing when they're happening, where are they at, and then going in. Like you're saying, you go into someone's house and you're looking around, you're like, oh, there's some, there's really not something right here. Uh, it's you just get that feeling that maybe there's something that's really not happening, but I'm not going to discount the fact that you think there is.
Right.
We're still going to do what we can to help out, and some people just want to know that there's nothing there, which is great. And we've had that experience where we've spent 4 or 5 hours in someone's house and like we're just not finding anything. And then as we're doing a sweep before we start the investigation with the EMF meters and everything, and you get to certain locations and everything just lights up, you're like, okay, well, there's something happening right here. There's wiring and all kinds of stuff. And then we've had that before where someone's like, if I'm over in this area, I feel all kinds of things. And you go over there and your K2 is sitting in red the entire time you're there. And then as you move it around, it dissipates. So it's like, well, maybe, just maybe.
Just maybe.
And
Mhm.
I think as people, and I know I'm guilty of it, as when you start thinking that there's something there, and then you start looking for something there, you're going to see it.
Yeah. Your
You're
mind.
telling, your
Yeah,
brain is telling you, you you're not crazy. There's something there, but that doesn't mean that there really is.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because I think your mind, I think the brain is a very, oh man, it's a computer. And once you start typing, when I mean typing, I mean thinking. When you start thinking about things, and you do that, oh man, did I just see that in the corner of my eye? I like
Hmm.
you do that double take, and you're like, well, yeah, man, because I've
Yep.
had that so many times at so many different locations
Hmm.
where the first thing somebody says is, I do so many double takes. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
double takes doesn't confirm that there's something in your house.
Right.
It's telling me that something is messing with your mind, or you
Hmm.
yourself is messing with your mind, or you have not took your medicine over there. Let's take your medicine first, then we'll come back and we'll evaluate you in a couple of days after your medication has set in.
Hmm.
Now, if you start saying that you see the same things, and once again, like you say, Marty, my K2 ain't picking up nothing. That ghost ball ain't picking up. It's not going off. That SLS camera is not picking anything up, or so that's when we have to take another step. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
but Mark, what do you think?
I could not agree with Marty more. There's been several places we've been when the location allows us to, we'll actually go and do a face-to-face interview, just
Mm-hmm.
like you said, to kind of gauge. We'll do a baseline sweep with our EMF. Sometimes we'll set out a cat toy, just to watch it, see if there's any kind of reaction. And then we'll just do a baseline sweep. And there's been several occasions where we've told the people, you need to call an electrician. because your house is emitting such a large electromagnetic field. It can cause these hallucinations. It can cause these things to potentially happen. So call an electrician. Get your switches and your outlets more grounded, right? Get it looked at and see if it continues. If it continues, call us. We'll be more than happy to come back. But with this high EMF field, I think we're all educated enough to know that it can affect you both, what you think, what you see, what you feel, and things of that nature. And something that we try to explain to them. So a lot of them express feelings. Would you say that's fair, Marty? I just feel like I'm being watched. I feel like, and we tell them, well, don't ever ignore a feeling, right? Pay attention to it. However, feelings are not evidence.
Exactly.
Do you have something documented? Are you keeping a record of the reoccurrence of when it's happening? And that can help us to determine if it's something electrical or something unexplainable. Right. Yeah. So no disagreement with what Marty said at all. 1000% support and go right along with what he said. But some people just need an electrician. They don't need us.
Yeah, some people need a doctor. Some people need to just take their meds and do what they need to do, and everything would be okay. I've come across that one case where, long story short, I'm gonna tell you guys, it's pretty funny. I work Sunday. It was a Sunday, I believe. I got this weird text message. Voicemail, and this guy was like, man, he was paranoid. He was like, man, I need you guys to come out ASAP. I need this to be a priority one. A priority one for us means we need to get out there right after work.
Right.
Okay, so me and another team member, we knocked on the door, and he was like, she pulled out her pad. In the meantime, I'm just looking around the house. He was like, she was communicating with him, and she was like, well, man, I'm having problems because I'm seeing things. I'm having weird things talk to me. I've had, somebody is in my house smoking up my cigarettes and drinking up all my milk. So I'm like, and I turned around and I said, no, he didn't just say that. So my mind go to racing, but and I'm looking on his counter, and I mean, you guys, man, he must have had like 6 or 7 bottles of medication sitting right there. So I come back and I sit down on him. It's like, tell me about, some of your medication that you're taking, and he was like, well, this, that's that, and I'm like, okay, now, are you taking this on a regular basis? He's like, well, I kind of get off track every now and then. And okay, so next question I asked him, I'm like, hey, when you got off track, when you got off your meds for a certain period of time, now, if this is when you start having your strange occurrences, and he would say yes. And I like, okay. So right there, I threw the whole paranormal right out the window. And I'm like, okay, there's no paranormal here. So, and I asked him, I'm like, well, okay, can we go and look at all your meds and make sure, it's, psych meds, sleep paralysis and all that stuff. And he said, yeah, I mean, and plus we're going to set up a camera in your house just in case these cockroaches come back. I want to be able to capture them smoking your cigarettes and drinking your milk. Dude, that would right there, that would be history in the making if we can catch something like that.
Yeah.
So we were able to set up a camera, and Toy, because he slept in his chair. He didn't want to sleep in his bedroom. So he slept in the chair, and our camera is motion detected. So the minute he start moving, it clicks on. Bam. Okay, he got up, he smoked a cigarette, and I don't know how these two mixed cigarettes and milk. And that's kind of for each his own on that one. And he went to the refrigerator, opened up a jug of milk, drank the milk, left the milk on the counter, went back in his chair and went to sleep. Okay, so a couple days come by, we view the footage and we showed him the footage, and he was like, "Oh." And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, and we had to really sit down and see how can we handle this case. But him smoking cigarettes and not completing the cigarette, not putting it out, that can cause a fire. You know what I'm saying? Now the whole milk thing, I let him slide on the milk. But he
Right.
was like, well, man, I sleepwalk at night. Bam, case solved.
Yeah.
Case solved right there.
Yeah.
You know what? And we went and I asked him, I said, do you mind if I call your doctor and tell him what's going on? Now, most paranormal investigators would not call anyone's doctor. They will take it upon the individual to say, hey, we need for you to handle this. We're going to come back and we're going to check on you. But no, but him smoking cigarettes, and, that opens up a whole new chapter right there. He can hurt himself. So
Right.
we end up calling his doctor, and the doctor ended up calling us back, and we told the nurse exactly what was going on, and he's like, well, let me get a hold of him, tell him that he needs to come see us, and we can put him back on track with his medication. 2 weeks passed by. Sunday, I checked in on him, knocked on the door. Man, he was happy to see me. He's like, hey, man, I really appreciate you guys coming in, man. I know I act like a pure jackass and I'm like, no, I mean, don't say that, because what you have is some kind of sleep paralysis where you wake up and you sleepwalking. So that's something serious. But he was able to get back on it, and ever since then, man, we talk probably every other week, and man, and just helping somebody out like that, saving somebody's life, because he could have went south real quick by him doing that. And that's why I always say, when I go into an investigation, I got to look at the whole big picture, the whole situation of somebody saying that their house is being ransacked by spirits. And I'm like, well, dude, I mean, I'm gonna let you handle it. I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna investigate, not with a K2, not with a ghost ball. I'm gonna investigate with my mind, my eyes, my ears, and I'm just gonna make sure that what I'm seeing is what I'm seeing. If I see a lot of medication bottles, that's number one. If I see liquor bottles, that's number two. So that right there, once you see those two, it kind of things the whole paranormal things out the window, like I'm saying. But man, I mean, that me helping that guy out was probably one of the best things I ever did for somebody.
Oh, that's amazing.
And yeah.
And sometimes I don't want to use an inappropriate vernacular here.
Unit.
Sometimes the people who aren't thinking straight, I'll leave it at that.
There you
Right?
go.
It's easy when you're doing the interview, like when they tell you there's dead movie stars trying to harm them, and they name the movie stars by name. I'll be honest, we won't even go do an interview or nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, some things are very obviously, okay, they're kind of out there because, and something that people don't really think about and discuss in this field enough is the safety of what we do. We're going in places and meeting strangers that we don't know what's in store. Right. So, this guy just sent out, and based on what he said, we were like, no. No,
It ain't happening.
yeah,
It
yeah.
ain't. Yeah.
One of a handful of people, because we invite skeptical questions, right? We want people to challenge us. It
Mhm.
helps us to stay grounded. One of probably, and I say a handful, and I'm talking five or less in 20 plus years that we blocked on Facebook,
Oh wow.
blocked from our page because I mean, I'm just going to say it as Mark would say it. Man, this dude was out there, and we didn't want any more contact with him. And
He was
so,
that bad, huh?
and like I say, less than five in all these years.
Oh
Um,
wow. That's
yeah,
crazy.
another one actually. I've got to say it, Marty. Another one actually dressed up as a panda on the weekends. Yeah, I'm not making this up, man. I'm not making this up. And
Oh.
actually, I think he was from Texas.
Well, I hope he was from East Texas.
So yeah, we he's a little bit out there. Um, yeah, so we blocked him as well. But I honestly can't think of anyone else we blocked. So it may just be two people. But
Yeah.
when the crazy presents itself so obvious, that's not why we're in this field.
Yeah, Zach, that is so funny. Hey, let's talk about something a little bit different. Let's talk about something a lot of people don't like to talk about, and that's religion and the paranormal. How
Mhm.
do you guys feel about the team?
I well, we have different belief systems on the team, and we're very respectful of each other's belief systems. I was raised, and I still am, what I would consider a Christian. But I also believe that medically and factually speaking, the body is made up of energy.
Right.
And there is you can research this, and I can't remember the exact number, but there's once someone takes their tidal breath, and they can account for every ounce, medically speaking, of decrease in weight immediately when someone passes, with
Mm-hmm.
except a very small percentage. My belief, that's that energy release. The stronger the energy, the bigger the imprint, the more intelligent a spirit, a ghost, the energy may be. Weaker, maybe not as much love, attachment, or distress attached with that energy. It's more residual. That's my belief, right? We all kind of have a basis of that belief, but we don't all believe the same religiously, and that's okay. Because
Yes.
if you are a religious person, which is great, then doesn't religion of all facets, well, with most facets, preach love and respect and show who you are through your behavior and not be negative, not be condemning others for embrace people who are
Yeah.
different, and so Marty, I'll let you speak to yours.
I mean, I'm certainly not religious at all. So, we're different ends of the spectrum there, uh, in our beliefs, but that doesn't take away from anything that we do. There's
Right.
never been any kind of negative discussion or
No.
feelings or anything like that. I mean, what you believe is what you believe. What I believe is what I believe. And, I think at the end of the day, like Mark said, you know, we're all in this together,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what your belief system is. And, you know, just be good to people and,
Yeah.
treat everybody with respect. And it doesn't matter what your beliefs are.
Yeah.
And some on the team are the same way. And, but it's, I don't think we've ever like had a discussion about like people's beliefs, but I know, we'll go to investigations, and regardless of what our beliefs are, when we do a prayer, everybody joins in the prayer. There, it's not like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's not what my belief is, so I'm going to step back and not join. You know,
Right.
Right.
we all come together and do things like that, and I think we're very respectful of each other's belief systems.
Okay.
And
Cool.
let me add this, Terry, that there was on two separate occasions where we have actually had pastors, ministers ask us to come and investigate a church.
Oh wow, interesting.
And we have investigated two churches and um, because it's based again on my religious belief. The church is not a church until the worshiping is happening. When it's
Right.
empty, it's just a building, right? So and both churches had activity, and the pastors reached out to us because the activity was being reported by people attending Sunday school, not only kids but the adults, and
Oh
things would
wow.
happen during their sessions and
Hmm.
their breakout sessions and whatnot. So we've investigated a couple of churches as well.
That's interesting. Okay, let's talk about the Catholic Church.
Mhm.
The Catholic Church is been around for a long time. And when the Catholic Church, back in before all of us were even born, the Catholic Church would send out paranormal investigators to investigate something that was going on certain parts of the world. If you guys ever seen Van Helsing,
Yeah.
pretty much the same thing. He
Yeah.
was with the Catholic Church, and they sent him out to go and investigate. Uh, the movie was vampires and all that stuff. So the question that I have for you guys is, why do you think the Catholic Church has backed off on some of their beliefs on paranormal?
Marty, would you like to go first?
Hmm, that's an interesting question.
I can. I'll go ahead if you're if
I
you're
mean, for me, I feel like because I grew up, I was an altar boy and all that stuff. So, I grew up in a church and all that. And I don't ever remember there being more than two options when you pass. You're either going up or you're going down. There's no in the middle.
Right.
And I think that for a church to acknowledge that there is something in the middle could be a little fundamentally different than the message that they have, that they discuss every Sunday. That how do we explain that there are spirits here walking amongst us if you're either going to heaven or hell? What's the middle ground, and why is there a middle ground? So as far as a church not wanting to acknowledge what we go out and look for and research and document, maybe it's because they don't they try to stay away from that middle, that gray area. And that's just my opinion.
again, Marty's my brother. I would take a bullet for him any single day of the week without hesitation. But I have a different belief, and that's okay because we still love each other, man. It's that's okay. My belief is that when you transition from Old Testament to New Testament, right, the New Testament sets some new parameters in place. And it before New Testament time, before the death and resurrection of Christ, things were different. Well, after that, there's very few, very little in the historical factual things as well. Instances of just 100% pure out possession, right there. And then we've learned there has to be many, and learned this from the Catholic Church and researching their methods. There has to be mental instability, some kind of physical illness, devoid of any belief, more agnostic or atheist, even if you want to put those monikers to it, which doesn't. It doesn't happen. I'm sorry, if this offends anyone, but I'm going to speak objectively and factually. We don't get possessed every other investigation. That
Right?
man, I'm sorry. That's show. That's for TV, and it works to get the ratings because people dig it. Okay, that's fine. That's your gig. We'd rather be factual and objective, right? So my belief is that times have changed, and with that one act, the landscape changed.
Right.
And so it's set apart what we did today, because my belief is these are not souls. It's energy based. It's just energy. Again, the stronger the energy, the more intelligent and interactive, based on the imprint and connection with the potential location where they did pass. So Marty and I, like he said, different ends of the spectrum there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay, because we actually use those different beliefs to help us validate and stay grounded when we're doing our analysis, when we're doing our reveal, like, to someone at a home. So it's actually nothing. These different beliefs and different approaches in that nature actually help us to be who we are, and to stay objective and realize that we're looking for validation and proof, objective, undeniable proof.
Right.
It helps us to reach that. So long-winded, but there's my answer.
Okay.
And I think,
Now,
and I think if you have a team that where everybody is so similar and like the same outlook
Yeah.
and things like that, you can't be objective,
You
because
kind of
there's
limit
nobody
yourself.
there to say, well, maybe it's not. If
Right.
everybody on board is, an orb, a speck of dust is an orb, and you've got 5 people on the team, and they're like, oh no, that's an orb. You're right, that's an orb. Maybe it's not.
Yeah.
interesting.
So I think having a big dynamic in a team is, is very valuable, because you
Yeah.
want those differing opinions, you want those different aspects and life experiences on a team. You don't want people that all think the exact same thing, because you're never going to be objective about anything. Someone says, hey Terry, I heard a knock. It had to be something, and if everybody in the team is like, well, a knock's got to be paranormal, then yeah, we caught something. You're like, well, no,
Yeah.
No?
no,
Hey,
that's not
that,
necessarily right.
yeah, that's interesting. Let's talk about the town you live in, the city you live in. Let's talk a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about Chattanooga.
Chattanooga is right in the hub of the South, and the paranormal history here with the and we found in our research, and has been a premise for what has, we believe, through our research and then analysis and the evidence, it's usually equated to one of these: lost loved ones, Native American heritage. Civil War is huge in this area, and others are even historical figures that date back, that predate Native Americans. So Chattanooga really kind of hits all facets of. I'm even gonna throw out a non-paranormal word: all facets of the cryptid, and I think paranormal falls under cryptid. That's just the way I see things.
Mhm.
Of a paranormal / cryptid aspect, and I mean it just runs the gambit, and so what we usually, like when we're setting up an investigation, especially for a home, we do our research. There's been times when we have, because Marty and I will go back and forth on the research of what we find, and there's been some times where we've actually spent more time researching than we actually investigated.
Oh, been there,
Because
done that one.
yeah, I mean you gotta have the knowledge, man, but it gives us a basis for our approach. But then again, as Marty said, they had that comfort level when you recognize, like that man's house that he mentioned earlier, and it ended up, based on the evidence, to be the energy of his mother who was there. We went the Civil War route. We went the Native American route. We went the the long heritage route, and nothing until we started talking about his mother, who as Marty said, did pass at the house. And Tom, yeah, Lookout Mountain has a huge history. We've actually investigated a couple of schools, and of course, I can't mention which ones up there because we were, asked to keep it quiet. But a couple of schools, and the activity in those schools on Lookout Mountain were Native American based. That they truly were, and so this is what I call a hotbed here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, for the possible paranormal experiences. We've investigated, God,
And
how
it
many
also was a
restaurants?
route for the Trail of Tears too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, the Trail of Tears. A lot of it started at the foot of Lookout Mountain in a place called St. Elmo, which is in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and several died of yellow fever before they even started walking the trail. So, Marty, anything to add to that as far as Chattanooga's paranormal history
No,
activity?
I think you got it, man. I can't
How
think of anything additional.
okay? How are you guys? Do you guys have any problems getting into any of these historic locations that your city has to offer? Do the historical society give you guys the runaround? Do they want to allow us some more money? Or do they just tell you, hell no, it's not going to happen?
So, A, B, or C? Marty, tell me if you resign with this. I'm going to go with answer D, all three of the above.
Yeah. Like the
Yeah.
battlefield, you can walk around the Chickamauga battlefield, huge battle there, thousands of deaths there, but you can't do any kind of investigation. And when the street lights come on, you better be out of there. But at the same time, there's activity out there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, there's all kinds of reported activity. It's just you can't go out there and broadcast that's what you're looking for.
You can feel the electricity in the air because it's so
Oh yeah.
thick. One thing about historical society here in Texas, man, it's the historical society is in Texas, it runs everything. Historical society, the governor, mayor, those guys sits on the top of everything. Can't nothing be done without having those guys' approval. And I can tell you, man, it's really hard. If you don't know anybody personally, it's a good chance it's not going to happen. And and like you're saying, uh, definitely something's going on in some of these big time locations. Some of these historic locations, the Capitol, the governor's mansion, the state's cemetery, where there's been numerous soldiers, walking by, and it got so bad down there, guys. The state cemetery here in Austin, it got so bad that where the cemetery has 24-hour surveillance.
Wow.
Cops. There's a cop, and it's just circles it because people have seen so much activity coming out of that cemetery. They don't want anybody to go in and to get hurt. And they got, man, the biggest gate I've ever seen for a cemetery. I mean, it has to be at least 7 feet tall and has spikes on it.
Is that to keep everybody out or to keep something in? Okay, we got to ask that question,
I
right?
don't know. But it's been reported so many times, man, that cops have seen so many strange things in that cemetery. And they keep it hush hush. The governor's mansion, keep it hush hush. And some of these other locations that are around the state, man, like I say, depends on who you know and how much money you got.
Yeah.
If you want to get in these locations, because I know the historical society is, money based. So if you want to donate if you want to donate $5,000 to investigate, I'm not gonna tell you no. I'm gonna tell you, yeah, hey, go investigate.
Mhm.
Hey, and believe I don't take a check. Please cash at me.
You got me choked up on that one.
Please cash at me that 5,000. I don't take checks. I'm sorry. But yeah, all right, guys, let's talk about a story. Let's talk about something that I talk about everybody that comes to the show. Let's talk about Hollywood. How do you think Hollywood, very interesting. How do you think Hollywood portray paranormal investigators?
Oh wow. Hmm. I I think that the TV shows are a good reason that a lot of people think that there's negative energy, because it seems like whenever these shows go to any location, there's always something negative there. And doing this for 7 years, I've only really felt like negative energy in just a couple places. I mean,
Mhm.
certainly not everywhere that we go to. So I think for one, I think they've made it look very easy,
Yeah.
which we know it's not. Uh, we have people all the time ask, "Hey, can I go on an investigation with you? Can I go on an investigation with you?" I'm like, "Okay, you're in this for 8 hours, at least 8 hours. Lots of sitting, lots of quiet. You know, if I mean, it's absolutely nothing like you see on TV, because an hour long show, you get what, about 35, 40 minutes of everything leading up to the investigation, and then you get about 10
Mhm.
minutes of evidence from the investigation. I'm like, we're in this like 8, 9, 10 hours, and to get hopefully 5, 10
20,
minutes worth of
yeah,
stuff.
20 minutes worth of
And
stuff.
we don't have a whole production crew to go through our stuff and all that. So I think they've glamorized it. That they've, I mean, they they've made it more. I think they've made it more acceptable. I
Yeah.
think before, ghost hunters started, it was kind of taboo to talk about paranormal things. You didn't really talk about that out loud. Something's haunting you. You're like, I'm not going to really get into that with anybody because they'll think I'm crazy.
Hmm.
So I think, from that aspect, it's been a good thing, because people aren't afraid to talk about it. And it's you see it more and more, where I think more people realize that there is something there. And it's not necessarily a negative to talk about it. But I think they've also, I think they've probably hurt the field a little bit with the you know all the possessions and everything like that. I mean, for me, I no, I don't. I mean, some of them get great evidence, I think, but I think at the same time, one thing that Mark and I have talked about, if and we never accept payment to go somewhere.
Hmm.
If I'm on a TV show, and the purpose of my TV show is to find paranormal evidence, I'm going to find it. I mean, you're paying me to find this stuff. I'm not going to go in there for 10 hours and say, "Oh, well, we didn't catch anything. Sorry." Yeah, on to the
It's going to be
on-
found regardless.
right.
Yeah.
So, not saying that anybody's faking anything, but at the same time, if I'm getting paid to find something,
Oh yeah, I'm gonna find it. And
yeah,
plus, another thing, if the production company tells you to find something, Marty, yeah, you're gonna find it
yep,
because production, your your views is how you get paid.
Hmm.
You're because you're actually selling that TV show. So the more views you get, the more evidence you get, the more views, the more money that's coming in your pocket.
Right.
Exactly.
And I'm not damning them for doing that. That's their thing, you know. I just think like if someone would enjoy an objective, factual show without all the what I'm going to call drama and running and screaming from something that you went to that location to find,
Exactly.
because that's just not us. When things happen, we're normally Marty and I'll look at each other, and our approach is somewhat different than what you see on most of the shows. When we hear something, potentially see something, we'll get close to it and try to interact with it.
Exactly.
Every time you see them do that on one of the television shows, and again, I know why they're doing it, and I'm not dissing them. They get great ratings. I watch a lot of them too. They're entertaining. And like Marty said, sometimes, as far as I know, they're presenting good evidence on some of them, right? But when you go right where it happened, usually the activity's gone or stopped. So we try to get close and have an interaction with that energy. And Marty mentioned ghost hunters. You got to give credit where credit is due. What doesn't matter what you like or don't like. They put paranormal out there on the map as a more accepted field of research and study. And regardless of what you think of Jason and the rest of the crews as they've changed over years, you got to give them props and respect, because they were the forerunners as far as putting it out there in the public eye to help it be more acceptable. Again, high respect, high regards for that. So I do not disagree with anything Marty said about the television shows. I mean, hey, if we were on a television show, I can promise you we're not faking. Either people are going to love us or they would hate us, because they would think we're boring. Because if something did get thrown at us in a room, we're literally going, did you see that? And that has happened. That's our reaction.
Yeah.
So it may not translate to Hollywood, right?
You're
And speaking
right.
of Hollywood, I love the movies. I love the paranormal movies. I watch them. I seek them out to watch. I'm a horror movie buff. Okay, but yeah. Again, just to reiterate what Marty said, 1,000% in agreement with everything he said regarding the shows. Hey, awesome! I'm glad you did that. It helps to put us where we are today, right?
Yeah.
But just keep it legit, keep it objective, keep it valid, because once you fake one thing, all it takes is one thing to be faked, and you've lost all my respect and all my trust. And a lot of what we do, Terry, and I'm sure you experienced it, is built on trust.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because without trust, you have nothing.
Exactly. And all it takes is one to start you questioning everything that comes after.
Everything. Yes, sir. Um, One thing I should have mentioned at the podcast, the podcast is uh, what kind of equipment do you guys use?
How long do we have?
Well,
we have your typical IR, flares, SLS camera, cat toys, and REM pods, different styles of EMF detection, voice recorders, what I'm going to call your basic. But we also carry motion lights. We use baby monitors where the location allows us to. We use strip motion lights to pick up motion and activity, of an energy passing by. And then we kind of take things and modify them for our own use. And what I mean by that is I'm going to let Marty explain for you, because I love this was Marty's idea. Again, got to give credit where credit's due. But it helps to keep this kind of interaction with this particular piece of equipment valid. There's no human influence on it. And what I'm talking about is dowsing rods.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of teams use them, but let me explain. Let Marty explain to you how he uses and what he's done to make sure that if we get activity using dowsing rods, it's legit.
Oh, yeah.
So go ahead, Marty, if you don't mind.
So really, I had some PVC pipe laying around, and so I built a little contraption out of the PVC pipe, um, that will stand up about, I guess, about that tall off the ground.
Hmm.
And I punched two holes just in the top side of the PVC, and then the dowsing rods can sit in there, so that it's, a person isn't doing anything with the rods. I mean, you can manipulate the rods so that they're doing something. Just based on how you hold your hands, or and for anybody that's held dowsing rods, that after a certain time your hands get shaky trying to hold them still and everything like that.
Right.
So I've got I just this little PVC contraption, put the dowsing rods in it, and we can step back and let them do their thing
That's
while
a good thing.
while somebody isn't holding them.
You know,
It-
that's a good idea
It's
because
super easy to do.
that would throw a lot of skeptics out the window because, like you
Mhm.
said, a lot of people think that that you can manipulate those rods,
Hmm.
doing all this and stuff. But if you actually put them into a device and let them go on their own, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Actually, one of my team members just bought some LED. Man, they're so damn cool. Dowsing rods.
Okay.
You're able to see those bad boys just work in the dark.
Yeah.
Question that I have for
I
you
put
guys.
some glow in the dark, like nail polish, on the tips
Yeah.
of ours, so you can shine a flashlight on them for a little bit, and then once you go dark, you can still see the tips of the dowsing rod, so you can see them moving.
Yeah, that is totally awesome. Um, man, let me ask you, Mark. Let me ask you a
Yes,
question.
sir. Yes, sir.
Now, I hold on for a second. This this book that I have here, it's not really a book, but let's pretend I can open it. And this book is the paranormal. This book's, I mean, at one point it was like this, but it's steady growing because we're steady learning about paranormal. So this book is steady. It's going to get bigger. Trust me.
Mhm.
It's going to get bigger. It's going to get so heavy where I won't probably won't be able to pick it up. But that's just the way the paranormal world works.
Right.
Ever evolving. Just when we thought we figured one thing out, it skips 2 pages, 3 pages ahead of us. You
Mhm.
know, so the question that I have for you is, if this book is ever evolving, why come us as paranormal investigators aren't doing the same?
That's the $1 million question. There's as and I say this as a whole, um, within the paranormal field, a lot of people go in and do the same old thing, asking the same old questions with the same old techniques, right? Well, one of the things that we have really enjoyed evolving to, like as Marty said, to help take that potential human influence out of the equipment going off is the use of those little cat toy balls. As we mentioned, everybody knows what they are. A lot of teams are using them now. We started using them quite a long time ago, right? The evolution with Marty's invention, for the dowsing rods, right? And I tell you something else that we have done. We use this at a place of business, just outside of Chattanooga in Chickamauga, Georgia, and I call this an evolution of our skill and technique. Well, it was very heavily influenced by not only the Civil War, but World War I and II in this location with the people and things like that. Again, I won't go into the history because you know as well as I do, Terry. Start talking history, it's going to be a whole different show,
Oh yeah,
right?
definitely.
So we get there and we're answering questions, and again, Marty comes up with the idea. Well, wait a minute, how did they communicate during the World Wars, especially in one Morse code? So he started using Morse code, and we were at the other end, and he was at one end of this hallway, and we were asking questions. Marty would do the question in Morse code, and the responses he was getting back with his Morse code interpreter was answering the questions that we were asking.
Oh wow, that's really
Total whole new technique that I'd never seen it done before. I haven't seen Morse code used in any other paranormal investigation. And so, Terry, I think that's the key thing for us as a group, us as a field, us as collaborators and investigators and researchers in the field of paranormal study. We have to continue to evolve. We have to continue to adapt, to come up with new ideas, new approaches, not only just new equipment, but new intentions with what we're doing. And that's where that para community, as it's phrased, can come into play. Mm-hmm. But again, it came from the creative mind of Marty. And so we've used it in other locations. And I got to be honest, we have not had it work again since that location, which to me kind of validates the experience that we documented there.
Mm-hmm.
If it was just continually to happen at every location, well, who knows?
And the cool thing with that was that we were actually on Facebook Live at the time.
Yeah.
And they were running an SLS session, and Jason and Mark were down there, were a ways from me, and I remember Jason was like, "Oh, we just lost it. We just lost it." And so I typed out phone app. I mean, truly, it's just a Morse code app for my phone. So I typed out, "Come back." And as soon as it sent, like 5 seconds later, "Oh, it's back." And then I was like, "Raise your right arm." And then hey, it's raising its right arm. And that was the interaction we were getting. And so I was telling it, I was saying, "Do this," and they were catching that on the SLS. Now they had no idea what I was even doing. But I mean, you see, they still couldn't fake it. But the fact that I was typing it out, and then what we were catching on the SLS was doing exactly what I was typing out.
And I gotta say, Terry, I got tired during that event because I was running the live then, and I would run down here and be showing everyone watching what Marty was typing out and doing, and then I would run down here and show the SLS figure and that it was doing exactly what Marty typed out, and then Jason would say something, and then I'd run back down here, and it was but it was fun, it was exciting. But again, from the creative mind of Marty is where we get that idea. So usually anything, especially if it's World War I or even II influenced, or even it doesn't have to be World War connected, it's an adaptation of our tool set that we built over the years to approach and try to document, because you can't fake that with that kind of interaction.
I mean, even like a Google Translate.
Yeah.
We've, at the place we were talking about, Mark was, they had World War I and II artifacts, and so I would type out things, English to German, or English to Japanese, and the translator would say it out loud, and we got some responses off of it. No idea what they said, but we were getting responses. We've used it at a house that was built by a family that migrated here from Germany, and used the German translator there. I'll tell it what to say, and it'll say it, and we've gotten responses from it. So it's it's just thinking of trying to think of different things that we've already got, already have access to, but using them to our advantage. and trying to think outside the box. How many times does someone want to, hey, if you hear this, knock. I mean, come on. Like you were saying, there are people. You're asking me to knock every weekend. 5 times a weekend. I'm over that. So it's
Right.
just
Yeah,
trying.
I'm
What
so
can I think
yeah.
of? What games did you like to play as a kid, and things like that that you just don't hear people asking about on TV.
something
It's
we've
all the same questions, it seems like. So
something we've adapted even more so when we've done it on a couple of recent investigations. In one investigation, it worked great. We were getting equipment interaction. Another investigation, we didn't get anything. Using music from that era
Yeah.
to influence. Getting up, we'll get up,
Oh
act a
my
fool, and
God.
dance a little bit. And get them to try to just interact and relax. And
Oh,
we've gotten on one of those occasions, we got some really
really.
phenomenal interactions.
Dude, that just you mentioned that, Mark, and that I mean, I just had a rush that just came over me, and we were at an investigation at the Heritage Retirement and Memory Care, and we were in the court. No, first we were in the ballroom, was the slash dining room, and we did exactly what you just did. We put on some 50s, 60s type music because man, and just one song was stuck in my head, and it was a Michael Jackson song, "Tweedledee."
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was a Michael Jackson song. I'm not sure, but we went into the courtyard, and man, I caught up. I caught the most unbelievable EVP. That song was still in my head. I was singing that song as I was investigating, but clearly you can hear a voice saying Tweedledee. And I stopped and I said, "Did y'all just hear that?" And the guys and the team was like, "Yeah." So I went back and looked at the video, listened to the video, and it exactly what it says. Tweedledee. I'm like, "Oh my God,
That's awesome.
that was unbelievable." So that told me right there is music can have a lot to play in the paranormal, especially back in their
Mhm.
era, their time. But the question that I have for you is, do you think spirits can recognize the music today?
I think they recognize, and again, this is just total conjecture, right? This is just what I think, and Marty may have a different thought process. They recognize the beat that it's music,
Yeah.
but I don't know if they would like so much our music today.
No, I don't think so, man.
I mean, just like, I listen to some songs and it's like, okay, time to change the station. I think sometimes they can feel that way.
Dude, I can't tell you the last time I heard some good 70s rock and roll or some 80s. Hey, man, people say 80s. The 80s was
Uh,
best ever. If you can tell me the last time you guys heard some music like that, besides on an 80s radio station, hey man,
yeah. I
because
actually played some 80s music like that at our last investigation doing the dancing thing. And Marty was giving me such a hard time, because again, we have fun. Why, if you can't have fun doing it, why do it, right? Marty was like, couldn't you have picked a better song? Oh my gosh. And I'm like, dude, this is a good song. And he said, no, it is not. So and we just had fun with it.
yeah,
We just say, if
yeah,
you can't
man,
enjoy each other, you can't enjoy what you're doing, then why do it, right?
exactly. Now, Tennessee have a lot of haunted venues out there. And Texas, man, there's a bit. I can tell you what, on every corner in the state of Texas, there's a venue that paranormal investigators spend a large amount of money to go investigate. How much are y'all willing to spend to go into a location where you know damn well there's been millions of boots on the floor? How
Mhm.
much? How much is too much?
We normally, and Marty, again, please correct me, we don't like to go above around $1,000.
Woo!
For the
Yeah.
team. For the
For the
team.
team. For the
Not
team.
per person.
Oh
Not per
man!
person. If it's $1,000 per person, we ain't doing it, because I can tell you
Ah!
right now, there ain't no place worth that much money, and my wife would kill me till I'm dead. And
Yeah,
the team would be investigating me if I spent $1,000 on an investigation, right? But
yeah.
yeah, normally it's individual wise. We try to keep it around $100 as we
Mm.
as we divvy it out, and splitting the cost and whatever. And then I must say we have some locations that, again, the owners have asked us not to advertise, and we've done a lot of investigations that the public never knew about,
Hmm.
that we kind of do for us because they wanted us to do it. One
Right.
in particular is a hospital, and I'm just going to say somewhere in North Georgia. We've investigated it a couple of times and had phenomenal experiences there, and we're welcome to go back at any time. Right? That doesn't cost anything. We have a couple of different locations like that. Actually, a couple of different restaurant locations too that we could do that with. But
Please,
we like new places.
oh, please tell me. You mentioned restaurants. Please tell me it's not a spaghetti warehouse.
No.
I don't know what it is, man. Because here in Texas, every spaghetti warehouse in the state of Texas is haunted. The one in Austin, they shut it down.
Wow.
The one in Houston, haunted. The one in North Dallas, haunted. And I'm like, wait. This can't be right. Either somebody's playing with me or every location can't be haunted. That can't be
Right.
just a coincidence.
Mhm.
You know, the one in Austin, I can see because there was an old railroad that ran through there. So it might be. I can see it, something traumatic happening, but any other location in a major city, might be kind of hard to figure that out. I mean,
Yeah.
I really don't know. But guys, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I brought this book up for a reason. It's not really a book, but it's some headphones. You know, we know that this book evolves. We know it goes just every 3 pages. Mark, what century are we in?
21st.
21st. Okay, what century were we in? The 20th century, right? Okay, now the question that I have, I totally respect that the guys out there are still using 20th century technology to investigate. And I clearly understand the 21st century technology. I really respect the guys that use that. But me myself, I consider myself 22nd century paranormal investigator, which it's not even here yet. But I'm thinking ahead,
Yeah.
on the things that people should be using in the 22nd century. All the things that should be using, like for an example, how many cameras y'all got?
Um, is it 7 or 8, Marty? With our we have 7 or 8 wireless
All right,
cameras,
all
and
Right.
right.
then we
And then
have
we've all some of us have handhelds as well with
right.
Take
our
all those cameras and throw them in the trash. Just take them all and just throw them in the trash. We're not going to use those cameras anymore. You know what I'm saying? Mike, you probably know where I'm going with this. Take all these. I got cameras. Take all those cameras, just throw them in the trash because they doesn't do what they need to do to help you guys get the evidence that you rightfully want. Am I right? Sometimes, sometimes you guys lose evidence just because you're using the cameras. Cameras. Okay, let me ask you guys a question. Which is quicker, a camera or your eyes?
Okay, so you're saying don't do an investigation with using the camera, and we
No,
don't
just throw them
we
away.
We don't do that.
Throw them away.
The cameras that we pretty much have are just stationary cameras to watch everything is especially if we're not around.
Okay, well, Marty, throw those away too. Because what I'm about to present to you, you're not going to need them anymore. Throw them away because cameras aren't as quick as a ghost, a spirit. You know, you might catch them when they allow you to catch them. But the best thing on this planet to catch evidence is your eyes. And trust me, all three of us are wearing glasses. So our eyes aren't that great. There you go, Mr. Torres. Mr. Torres got that perfect. He said eyes. Your eyes is the most important thing of investigating. So we need to use these eyes and our ears because these are the two things that have never let us down. So when you think you hear something, you really do. When you think you see something, you really see it. So when you're able to to validate something, that's great, man. That's perfect. You know what I'm saying? But the most important thing is when you're looking and and you like, I got this right here, man. But when you hear something to the right, what is the first thing? Let's say if you're holding that camera, what is the first thing that turns? Your head or the camera?
Oh, it's always your head. Always your head.
So by the time you turn that camera, it's gone. Missed it. Missed it, Mike, Marty. It's gone bye-bye. You'll never get that again.
Oh no, you're right.
So
And that's why I was saying we don't typically we don't do investigations with cameras or through cameras. The cameras would be there mostly they're like I said they're stationary
They're
to
observing.
to if we feel that we've seen something where a camera is located and it hopefully it can validate what we've seen, but we don't go through with cameras and look at the cameras. And that's the one
okay.
thing that drives me crazy about the ghost shows is just like you said, I don't want the camera pointing at you. I want to see what you're looking at. And I think that's my biggest pet peeve, I guess, with the shows today is, you're showing the actors, so to speak. The camera's on the actors all the time, and very rarely are they able to actually catch anything on the cameras.
And guys, I hate to say this, Marty, I'm gonna have to leave it over to you. I got to check out. I've got some things I've got to run and take care of, Terry. But hey, you're in good hands with Marty.
All right. Well, hey,
he is amazing. But it was a pleasure to meet you. I'm looking forward to the next time. We'll definitely be in touch, stay in touch, and collaborate.
Yes, sir.
On some things. And hey, for those of you, if I didn't get to your questions, because I've got to jump off to take care of something. Forgive me. Terry can fill me in. Marty can answer them. But it was a pleasure and an honor, and I look forward to staying in contact with our new friend.
Yes, sir. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for spending your Sunday. Hey,
yes, sir.
Tell the family, hey, I wish they can come on. I wish I could have met the wife and all that, and the other team members.
Yeah.
We can't leave those guys out because those guys are the backbones of the whole thing. But anyway, hey, you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, man. Go eat Sunday dinner.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Marty, I'll talk to you tomorrow, brother.
All right, man.
All right. Have a good night. Uh-oh. Let me get rid of it. The reason why I'm saying, Marty, is we try not to use cameras because they miss so much. So we came to a way where we know our mind, our eyes. If we see something, we won't be able to capture that. So we actually
completely agree.
We actually came across these.
What are those? Oh, are those camera glasses
Yeah, these are 20
that Mike's
second
talking
century
about?
camera glasses. These cameras right there,
Yeah.
and they have not failed us. They have not failed me yet.
Where'd you
I'm
get
able to,
those?
huh?
Are those just Amazon?
Classified information.
Gotcha.
They're classified information, but
Totally understand.
we got different types. I guess I thought I had different types, but yeah, because one thing I've always noticed, because the way our team is set up, we got two investigators, we got one guy holding the camera,
Hmm.
and I wasn't able to hear something. Whenever I hear something to my ear, I always seem to turn my head, then turn the camera. That's just the way our body works.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I came up with a way, like, how can I able to catch that little bitty evidence that I'm thinking I'm hearing, and I'm looking. So I got to figure out something like that. So I discovered these, and and they come in different shapes, different forms. Some of them come 4K, 1080p. You get the same amount of quality that you get when you have your regular uh, cameras.
Hmm.
And and I've uh, told a couple other teams about this, and they've been really successful. And the great thing about it is, since me and you both wear glasses, I can go to my eye doctor and have these retrofitted with these.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not actually losing anything as far as eyesight when I wear
Hmm.
these. Mind you, these things are a little bit heavier than these, but uh, hell, I can put up with it for a couple hours.
Right.
Yeah, and you know what? I there some of them come with night vision. Some of them come with Bose speakers, so you can get that quality hearing
Okay.
that you want when out there investigating. And I've come across so many other things that I'm including into our paranormal team as far as equipment wise. And I'm not saying that the 21st, the 20th, and 21st century, techs aren't doing what they need to do, because they're doing what they need to do for their team.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm looking to be honest with you. I'm looking to catch up a couple of pages in this book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of flipping two pages, they're going two pages on me. And I want to be able to catch up in one page.
Hmm.
And I can be right there neck and neck. And I know I'll never be able to, actually catch up with it. But you know what? I can actually, at least I'm trying.
Oh,
And
yeah.
uh, I'm always bringing something new to the table for other paranormal investigators to check out.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I do understand that each paranormal team has their way of doing things. But only thing I'm saying is, let's try to, at least try to keep up with the times of of just investigating, and some of the equipment that that are out there that teams aren't using yet. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's all I'm saying. Man, it's been an hour and 38 minutes, man. And I know
Is that
you,
it?
yeah, I know you got things to do, Marty. Hey, sorry about that. Tell the world how to get a hold of you guys.
Oh, man. So we are on, of course, we're on Facebook, Paranormal Research, Ghost Investigations
Mm-hmm.
out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, PRGI. We have an email. It's prgi@epbfi.com. I think Mark Mark has a Instagram under the PRGI. So there's a PRGI Instagram. We have a YouTube page under PRGI. So we've got all kinds of different ways to get in touch with us.
Or you can do what I did. I called them.
Uh, exactly. Give us a call.
I
Message
called
us
them.
on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. Mark's not on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. Message me.
Yes, message these guys. You know what, Marty? I'm sorry that I didn't get a chance to meet you personally, but you know
So
what?
am I.
I think that we'll be able to eventually connect. I'm hoping that you and your wife can come down again,
Oh, we will.
and I can, oh, dude, I can show you so much about Austin, and what they got going on as far as paranormal. Uh, some of the most some of the most haunted locations Austin has to have. I'm not going to say the most haunted location because I have not been to every one yet.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, we definitely need to do that. But before we go, I always ask everybody that comes on the show, you got a bucket list?
Of where I would want to go.
Yes, sir. Where would you like to go in the world,
In the world.
or
I
even,
know.
or you can go
Uh,
outside the world? It don't matter.
I mean, outside the world wouldn't be bad either, huh?
No.
Probably not a lot of energies up there. Um, in the world. Wow. Maybe Transylvania. Vlad the
Romania.
Impalers.
You want? Is it like Romania?
Yeah, yeah. Vlad the
Mm,
Impalers castle.
Interesting.
Um, as dark and I guess as unpolitically correct as I can be. Probably places in Germany, like the former concentration camps.
A place like
Um,
Auschwitz.
yes, exactly,
Well, I hope.
exactly, and just for just more of an appreciation uh, um, for all the sacrifices versus trying to go and just catch a bunch of
Well,
activity and things like that.
you better have a bunch of napkins with you because I'm pretty
Oh man,
sure it's a year. It's yeah, that place. Woo, man, a lot of sorrow, a lot of sadness.
exactly, exactly.
And my place will be if I had a place to go. I gotta pick two of them. One would be Omaha Beach.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
an excellent one.
the other one would probably be the Island of the Dead in New York.
Okay,
That's where they put all the COVID victims at.
yeah,
But those two places I would love to go check out.
or even Pearl Harbor. You know,
Yeah, that would be interesting.
that would be a good one too.
I would definitely like to go check that place out because I know, yeah, just
It's
being
sad.
around.
There's just so many. There's just so many
Yeah,
places there are all these mass deaths associated with them.
yeah, I think just being around the Arizona, I think you'll be
Right,
able to pick something up.
right.
That would be unbelievable. You might hear an EVP or K2 going off or something, but
Yeah,
definitely. Uh, Marty, it has been a pleasure
man.
talking to
I
you.
can't thank you enough for this. This was excellent. Thank you so much for having us
And
tonight.
the questions, there's so many other questions that I have to ask for you guys, but we can do this for another day, another,
Right.
and I would love to meet the rest of the team if that's all possible.
Yeah.
Because every now and then I like to hear their point of views,
Oh, 100%. I'm with you.
and seeing what they think and what they say,
Hmm.
and all that stuff. But in the meantime, man, you enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
I'm
Uh,
going to. You do
go
the
watch,
same.
go watch the Cowboys lose.
Right. I just hope McCaffrey has a big day because he's my fantasy football
Ooh,
running back. So
dude, I am an Oregon fan, as you can
I
tell.
see that.
that dude was such a thorn in my side when he was at Stanford.
Oh yeah.
I just wanted to ooh, I could not stand that dude because he was so good at what he did. I was like, oh, McCaffrey, I want to just, oh, man, go
So I
away.
guess I'll wait until we're done to tell you that I'm a Buckeyes fan. So.
Yeah, we beat y'all, so I don't worry about it. Was it last year or 2 years ago? I think it was
Yeah,
2
I
years
think it
ago.
was 2 years ago.
Yeah, we beat y'all in. And that's when you guys on the downside a little bit. But y'all did bounce back. You know, you only had one loss. Oh, no,
Yeah.
2 losses because you lost to Michigan that year, too.
Yeah.
But 2 losses, you still made it to a major bowl. So, I mean, I don't dislike Buckeyes, you know, but they're okay. I mean, they don't. The thing is, I don't run around too many Buckeye fans. There are not too many of them here.
No, there really aren't. I mean, because when I was there, I went to a sports bar and I was watching the game, and I didn't see anybody wearing anything Ohio State. So
No, I mean, I think I'm the only Duck fan in the city.
I can believe that.
So yeah, I can, and I work at Buffalo Wild Wings
Okay.
on the weekends. So I'm sports bar. So, and trust me, dude, they always got something negative to say.
Oh yeah.
So I'm done with Cowboy fans. There's something else. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, dude, you go enjoy the rest of your evening. Eat Sunday dinner. And hey, let's keep in touch.
Absolutely,
And
man.
whenever you are back in Central Texas, feel free to look us up, man. Because I only live like 2 minutes away from
Oh,
you.
I'm gonna hit you up for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Hey guys, please, if you guys are ever in Chattanooga, hey man, if you guys want to do something to investigate, hey, please feel free to contact Marty at you know, they will show you a good time. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go some battleground, I'm pretty sure they know exactly where you go. If you want to go somewhere historic, I'm pretty sure they know exactly where to go. So in the meantime, hey, Marty, once again, I appreciate it.
Terry, it was an honor. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Hey, guys, this is NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast signing off. You guys enjoy your Sunday. Hey, I can't say it. I was gonna say go Cowboys, but they're losing. But they're losing. But in the meantime, hey, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace. Marty, have a good one, brother.
You too, Terry.
Thank you. All right, guys. Hey, I am about to go grab something to eat. I think I got some pizza on the mic on the stove. But anyway, hey man, go check out those guys, man. If you guys are ever in Tennessee, go check them out. They will show you a good time. In the meantime, like I said, I'm about to get out of here. So, peace.